Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal.
I'm Mark.
We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom. We share inspiration, we share struggles, we brainstorm solutions. We would love to have you join us.
Welcome, welcome. It's great to be back, guys. Yeah. So we've been in 12 months, 12 years in this quarantine situation.
12 decades?
12 decades, something along the lines. So at least in Chula
I think
Vista.
it's lucky 13 now.
Lucky 13.
Yeah.
Oof in a basket.
Oof.
Well, I mean, it was the 13th that it was all
That's true.
done.
That's true.
Yes, March 13th. I remember that.
Are we still okay with that? Anyway.
That all said, good morning. And so we've been in, at least in Chula Vista, we've been teaching distance learning since schools have closed back in March 13th, 2020.
Yes.
And next school year, we're likely to be coming back. Right now, San Diego is going into the orange zone, which is our metric of seeing how safe things are. And that all said, I want to pause it to you guys as we slowly think about going back to in-person learning. What do you guys anticipate for this school year?
Sit spots.
I mean, because there's
Not what you were expecting.
you're not wrong. Because as I process this, I think about this because I think about not just the fact, we're going back in person, we're gonna hit it just like how we used to. That's not going to be the case because a lot of these students, even though right now at Chula Vista, there's we're doing hybrid learning, so some of them are in person. We can't teach them in person, but some of them are slowly going back to the school sites.
I feel like the majority is about 50%. Is that kind of at your school? About
That's
50?
about right.
I
That's
think
about
we were
right.
53-47.
Yeah.
Wanted to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that all said, when they come into the music room, we can't hit it off just like, it's the new school year. Let's go pull out our recorders or let's pull out our scarves or such and do what we did before. How do you anticipate this one's going to be different?
I think we're still for sure going to have some distancing and some disinfecting to do at least in the fall. That sounds about right. Yeah, that's my feeling. I think we're going to be with some measure of safety protocols for a while, masks and what have you.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we get to go back and do our classrooms like we did pre-COVID. What that exactly looks like.
Yeah, how are you going to pivot?
Great question. I think just immediately thinking as we kind of discuss what do we think? Instruments will be just there will be certain classes use certain instruments, and I think for me it'll be off days, so there is time to disinfect between, and so this bucket or whatever the red boxes are these two classes, but they use them on separate days, and so there's plenty of time to disinfect. I think that is, and then also lots of movement,
And body percussion.
Body percussion as well.
Yeah. And we're still kind of waiting to hear what even singing will look like because there's a lot of debate surrounding that. I'm really hoping that they'll listen to the science and let us sing if we have masks on, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that so this year I went to individual music kits that I sent home in the second half of the year, and that proved effective. So I think I'm going to do that too. And I'll want to do drumming and xylophones and stuff. So I'm kind of thinking the same thing too. But I'm picturing, I have these long counters in my room because it used to be like a computer bank against the wall. So I'm just thinking I'm going to assembly line it, have the hand sanitizer and then get your stuff and go to your spot when you come in, whatever it is.
Do you think having a station set up and just having instruments already kind of set up, and because I store all my instruments, I have bookshelves and they all go my xylophones and whatnot, but maybe rearranging the room, a part of the room, it just the xylophones are already there, you don't move them, you don't do anything, because then that also cuts down on how many people are moving the xylophones and touching. I don't know if that really makes any sense.
That does make sense. Yeah, the only issue, the thing, I like that idea a lot. The only issue is that the setup time is going to be, and we need more setup time in order for that to occur, because I don't know about your schedules. I'm sure it's also scheduling is going to shift as well. But at least for my schedule, I don't teach necessarily the same grade level the next class over. I might teach first grade, then fifth grade, then kinder, then...
Well, so. The way we've done it, and again... we're speculating into something that we're not allowed to be a part of the decision-making process.
Right.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, yes, we got to be flexible and figure it out once we're told, hey, this is kind of what it's going to look like. But just like we would do our collab, and I think you also did this,
yes.
Crystal, you would. So you'll have 2 classes of the same grade and then a different grade completely.
Right.
Yeah. That's fun.
So I think more than anything, we'll figure out the nuts and bolts. Like we just will. Whatever they throw at us, we'll come up with something, and I'm sure we'll text a lot and we'll figure out what each other is doing the first couple of weeks. But what I'm more concerned about is just the kids adjusting again to yet another routine, because it took years to build trust.
Right.
And now they haven't been in music class in person for so long. And, we talked in our last episode about how we practice, a safe place to fail and trying things out. And so I'm kind of going into this, like, we've had a year of them on these educational software programs as the bulk of what they're doing for school, that have right answers and wrong answers, and not very much room for that creativity and flexibility. So that's going to be a whole curve.
Yeah. Actually, that's pivoting to my next point. Kind of
sorry.
No, it's fine. Great segue. These are great steps and points. But how do you think the word curriculum is the only word that comes to mind? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not so much looking for like overarching standards, but how are you going to address the fact that these students have been gone for so long? Are you going to teach things differently? Is that not so much in like the spacing or the instrumentation, but is your content going to shift?
My content never stays the same.
Yeah, I think it's something that is I think it's a living thing that needs to constantly be looked at and assessed and see where you are with your students.
Yeah.
And when we have a curriculum and we are so attached to the curriculum and the curriculum drives everything rather than where our students are, we get in a lot of trouble.
Sure.
But I think that also the concepts in music, like we can hit so much all at once without really telling the kids that we're doing all the things, like you can touch form, you can touch improvisation, you can do all this, and like you can do all that in the context of play where the kids are doing the curriculum, quote unquote, without realizing that they're doing the curriculum. And so yes, it's going to change. Yes, it's going to look different. I anticipate probably more outside than we've ever been, maybe some more circle games and things of that nature. So to answer your question, I think the curriculum would, but also like if we have to go back in what we initially thought, well, I think by the end of 2nd grade, we should be able to do this. If our 3rd graders, when we start, aren't there, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to be like, okay, well, they have these skills. So let's build upon these skills. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to reimagine how I can get them working in groups and things, even though we're going to have to be apart and bounce ideas off each other. So I'm looking at something that's been really cool that's happened at Finney since we've been gone is one of the parents took over our garden project. Cool. And it went from this brown piece of dirt to this gorgeous space with raised beds and colorful pathways, and things are blooming and they're growing vegetables, and it's really amazing. And I came across this park that's near where my parents live that's all outdoor musical instruments, but they sound like Orff instruments. They're really beautiful. That's cool. They're super expensive, so I'm trying to seek out grants. But I'm thinking if I can do that, not only would that be a good answer to the need to move class outside for a while and distance, but then it's something to like actually put stakes in the ground, be like music was here, and make it a permanent fixture. Because my art teacher and I are always joking that they're gonna have to jackhammer art and music out of the school if they ever try to cut it again. So then they'd actually have to dig up concrete.
There we go.
So I think just kind of using keeping those muscles that we've developed up over the year of how do we continue to advocate for music and do our jobs, that's going to be huge. I don't have the answer for performances yet. That's kind of also what I keep thinking about. Like, how are we going to handle crowds?
Informances in the large spaces.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
I've been kind of mulling this idea around in my mind, because I've been thinking about that same thing of like, okay, but then also my mind was like, how do I involve classroom teachers? So if we do like, I don't know, we have one a month, one class a month or whatever, one every other. I don't know yet. Don't have logistics, but you set up your space in the auditorium or outside if you are able to, or wherever you have a large space where everyone feels comfortable, and you run through a 30-minute, 40-minute process of ORF, and you do the things with the parents, you do the things with the kids. I think that would kind of quench that desire for a quote-unquote performance. But then at that point, you're looking at advocacy, you're getting the parents involved, you're getting the classroom teachers involved, and you're having fun.
Right.
And so not necessarily thinking like, okay, well, I need to have my winter showcase that's going to have 150 parents there and da-da-da-da-da. Like, no, we're not going to do that this year, but we'll have an informants. Here's your class's time when we get to do that. Make sure if you need to take off work, like you're able to, like we can work with you and try to help. Yeah. And then also do what we do.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be something that I'm going to explore in my class or at my school, and just try to maybe just build that into, well, this is what we're doing now that we're back. Because I think we have that fresh slate. Yeah. Of if we want to change something, oh, well, it's new. Here we go. This is what we do now.
It's a nice opportunity if you think about it that way.
Start fresh.
Yeah. What wasn't working? This is a great disruptor.
So we kind of talked about like a lot of great ideas that are spinning out, but like if you're to focus on just one skill and just hone in on that, what would it be? Like thinking specifically, since we have these strict guidelines, like for example, like what would you do with movement? Like so label one skill, and how would you work with the parameters that we have at the moment?
I feel like I want to work on the whole risk taking and being creative and improvising piece of what we do. So I'm going to be trying to focus all of my activities on come up with one idea. Now come up with another idea. I need you to come up with 5, shapes that look strong, that say strong to you. And, now make 5 shapes that look, I don't know, like suddenly I can't think of any movement words. Like
wiggle.
There you go, wiggle. Wiggle in 5 different ways, exactly. Because that took the longest to build in my kids, who had never had music before, which was all of them. When I first came, it took years for them to not do Fortnite dances. When I asked them to come up with creative movement ideas.
That's because Fortnite's not cool anymore.
I know, that's true.
So we should do all the Fortnite dances.
Yeah, well, that's how you kill a trend.
There we go.
Teachers do it.
That's right, and they
that's
do it
our
better
first
than
skill.
the
We're
kids.
doing it.
Everybody floss.
Everybody floss. Mr. Seligman, stop.
Dabicopter.
Best thing is I still have footage of my kids dabicopting.
Nice.
But they were like little kids. Now if I show it to them like as 6th graders, like I'm sure I'll just like cringe them out.
Awesome.
Mr. Seligman.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that those are really great skills. And I also love like in focusing more into like the Laban movements and stuff, then you can really kind of dive into vocabulary, and now maybe we're forced to spend more time in that realm.
Sure.
And not just kind of here's a little piece of the lesson is we're going to do this. Okay, now we're going to move on to our next activity and go to something that we're really comfortable with, instruments or whatever it is. But maybe we have to like now explore vocabulary and explore how to put that in our bodies. And then I think when you had asked like another skill before even thinking about larger picture, like you had mentioned, Crystal, my first thing was like, I can do a lot more solfege. We took a workshop with the wonderful Dr. David Frigo, with Dalcroze Eurythmics, and like just what he kind of taught us was just so good, but I've never really put it in my classroom, and I didn't put it in my classroom because I wasn't comfortable, whatever lame reason I had at the time. But now I can, because I'm now we're more creative when we're forced to be in a box. Like when we have very little, we're forced to be creative. So now thinking like, how can I utilize that? Okay, what if we can't sing? Well, we can sure hum. We can sure hum solfege, and we can sure hum and move and put that in our body. I think we can get away with that.
I like what you're saying, the whole box element, because like I feel like when we slowly enter into back to in-person learning, the mind goes back to, we're teaching, the things are normal again, which it's obviously not. And I think thinking about the parameters and placing boxes around us could be very helpful, because one thing that frustrates me, I don't know about you guys, but there is so much to teach.
Yes.
There's not enough time.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you only see them once a week.
Yes, once a week, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know I'm one of the privileged ones. I know some people see like a bunch of different students, like they have even less time. But for me, if I have these parameters, I can think just like what you mentioned, Mark, like, oh yeah, cool. Okay, so I can't do X, Y, and Z, but I could focus on, you joked at the very beginning, sit spots. I mean, actually having them locate where a spot is, doing movement and staying on that spot, it made like my mind, like if this was during regular learning, I would feel, oh, but they should be able to they do more movement, et cetera, et cetera. But no, we have these parameters, stick in your box.
Yeah.
And you can do some cool art doing that.
Yeah. I remember Dr. David Frigo talking about how he taught spatial awareness to the little kids, because that was one of my questions. I was like, how do you keep them from knocking into each other? I think, first of all, I'm interested to see how aware the kids are about staying away from each other now that we have this extra layer of social distancing that they've all been existing in. I don't know. Somebody who's been teaching in person, call us and tell us how it's going, or
at
email
CH
us.
Classroom.
Yeah, tag us on the socials. Tell us how that's going down for you. Are they still knocking into each other or not? I imagine some are, but I just wonder. And then at the beginning of the year, I remember talking to David Thaxton. Shout out. Hi, Dave. And he teaches in Nevada. He was our level 1 teacher. He's a beautiful human. And they were tasked with teaching in person with social distancing and masks, with no instruments and no singing. And so they were just like, what do we do? He marked his field for marching band drill, basically, and kind of did all these movement activities to keep the kids spaced out. And so I thought about that. What if we combine that with what we learned from Eurythmics and singing solfege and moving all at the same time, from one dot to another? You start small. And then I remember how David Frigo said he put all the kindergartners in hula hoops. And it's like, you stay in your hoop, and first you dance in your hoop, and then you're allowed to put one foot out of your hoop.
A little tickle.
I'm going to start buying stock in hula hoops.
Right? Yeah.
No, actually, that's good, because like I've always seen teachers go outside, and going outside is great, but like I've always thought, but I have this room, I have these instruments I could use, and that wouldn't work outside. Transition time going outside versus inside. But yeah, I think because of these parameters, it would be good to be outside. I love Dave Thaxton's idea about marked spots as if it's a marching band troop.
Do drill.
Yeah. Having to do push-ups.
Absolutely.
Did you just do something
to the beat?
Take a lap.
There we go. I'm surprised. Like, I get why, but like I'm surprised. Like, I don't want to say the word getaway. Getaway is the wrong word, but like, mixing the mixture of physical education with marching band, and like saying, okay, you just did something you weren't supposed to do. Do a lap. Do a marching band. I just do a push-up. It's like, I wish I could do that.
We can. We just maybe can't say go do it. We're like, okay, this is what we're doing now.
Fair enough. We mentioned. Oh no, that's fine. We mentioned 2 episodes ago, I believe it was.
Sure.
We talked about things we liked, things we didn't like, from asynchronous to synchronous learning, or not asynchronous, to online learning, to when we eventually transitioned to in-person. We said that we love that we're going to get rid of kids with their cameras off. We love that. But I want to focus specifically, since we're talking about parameters, I want to put parameters on you guys. What are some things that you feel like that you'd like to utilize from distance learning into this liminal space of, or even beyond, of in-person learning?
Yeah.
Do you have something?
I do.
Get at it.
Okay. Well, you were talking about getting all of your staff involved in projects and how that's so important to school culture. And I've been so excited to see more teachers show up in like our virtual choir videos and stuff. Those who would have hesitated to be involved in other ways before, it's easier for them, I think, and then they see how much fun it is. I got a lot of comments about that, like that was really cool that we all got to do that together. So I'm hoping that that'll be a thing that we keep doing, that we can keep making these collaborative videos now that we're all comfortable with the platforms. And I definitely want to keep that up and do. It's just, I feel like it opens up access. It's like more opportunity, and it's a fun thing to share.
Definitely.
I think being able to work with like like having kids understand asynchronous work,
definitely,
and understand that, oh, I can still do school when my teacher's not sitting in front of me, I think is a really cool thing. And so there are so many great videos, and there are so many great ways for kids to engage in active music making, even without us, you know. And so to be able to perhaps have a lesson or scaffold a lesson or have something where you introduce it in class, you kind of begin to do the things, but then like, okay, for next time you need to go and during this week check out this video. I'll put all the assignments in teams, because I believe there was also an episode where we talked about, now we're a little bit more comfortable with teams, they're more comfortable with teams, like we can now push that out to them and have them do the thing at home and then come back and report back, and we can continue building upon that. Yes, you might not have 100% doing it, just because, let's be realistic, not every kid is going to do every assignment. I was that kid with 45 missing assignments. I'm like, why do I have an F in this class? That's just past Mark made poor choices.
Origin stories here.
But like, just to be able to have that kind of now flow and that ability to like, okay, well, I can do music outside of music class, and that's okay. I think is also a really huge advantage moving forward.
It's not just, I like that, not just okay, but I think when we, at least for me, when I tried to present that, it came across as homework. And no one likes homework.
That's true.
I was a nerd. I didn't like homework. No one likes homework.
I clearly didn't either.
But yeah, presenting as asynchronous opportunities or asynchronous work is another dirty word, wordy dirt, as Dr. Clemens used to call it. But yeah, that would be a good, giving kids opportunities that, since we only see them once a week, creating content for them to work at home. That would be good. I like that one idea. For me personally, especially after we finished that collaborative concert, I was kind of like on a stress down, but on a high as well. I was like, this was great. And something that I've been thinking about a lot is that advocacy is directly correlated with optics. And how can I use visual media to connect with other people for both advocacy, but also to connect with other programs out there? We have our friend Sasha up in which district is it? Oh my gosh,
San Marcos.
San Marcos, yeah.
Hi, Sasha.
Hey, Sasha. And it would be great to have, like, the problem, like, having a collaborative concert with her kids, they would have to come all the way down here. Now that's a barrier right there. But how can we use technology to create some sort of collaborative performance? I don't want kids to record in front of their webcams at home, because that's frustrating. But how can we have some sort of way to connect with other music teachers out there? Because there are a lot of you guys out there. And I'd love to not just build that up for the community element, but also for the advocacy element. Because I know our district was very happy when they saw all those kids' faces.
Oh yeah.
So, oh my gosh, what if we had like another teacher, like a pen pal type thing, where we collaborated with them on a certain thing, and then at the end we had like this final performance-esque thing that you worked on together? How fun could that be?
That's a cool idea.
That is cool. I mean, I'm not even kidding. This was something I wanted my first year, but I had no clue how to do it.
Sure.
Now that we've tried things out, because we've all been siloed in our own homes, like, it's possible.
Totally. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. We like...
I've talked about having a pen pal across the ocean before, and having that was something that we were working on setting up before the pandemic shut us down. But we were gonna Skype with a class in a different country, and they were gonna perform for us, and we were gonna perform for them.
That'd be cool.
I know, it'd be super rad, right? I know, we got to get back on that. You know what? I am excited to be excited about my job again, because that just comes to where we get our source as teachers and not burning out, is we are constantly on a trajectory upward to new things. You have to be growing.
Yes.
And being cut off from the kids like this and having my job be reduced to what it's been reduced to has just sucked the life out of me. And I am so desperate to be in front of the kids again and watching the light bulbs go on and feeling, the energy from them. Yeah, that's what I want next year. That's what I anticipate next year holding.
Actually, let's pivot off that question.
Okay.
Well, not question. I'm not positing the question. You didn't have a question. We've talked about anticipations. We can go in broad strokes. What is something you hope? One thing you hope from next year, because next year it's not going to be normal. But there can be some awesome things. So what's one thing you hope can come from next year?
I hope that we'll be so happy to be together again that maybe that'll propel the kids forward to getting that group spirit a little earlier.
Sure.
The opposite could happen. But my hope would be that they're so excited to be together that we just try stuff.
Sure.
I think my hope is in what I said earlier my hope is like when we go back, we can like honestly look at our classrooms and look at the things that we didn't love that we did, but we did because we were comfortable, and weed that stuff out.
Yeah.
And move forward with this hope of like, this is what we do now, and it's good and it's different. But like, I know I had my ruts and I get stuck in like, I don't know what to do. We're going to do one of the things that I'm just going to throw out there, and I know it's successful. I know like, but really challenge ourselves to be innovative within our classrooms. I think that's my hope.
I'm with you there, Mark. And like what you said really latched onto me. I'm still thinking about it. Like the whole notion that this is our opportunity to burn the things that we'll start fresh. So we said, start fresh. And I know that I have kept traditions mainly because it's what we did last year, and slowly innovate off of it. But this is a time that we can take away. We just start fresh. And so my hope for me is to really process, what do I want out of my classroom, and also and by doing that, allowing kids to shine boldly this year.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm sorry.
There's a second bit. It's like I mentioned it the last episode, but I think another hope is that I want to implement affirmations so that kids recognize, and kids recognize that their voice really does matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Completely in line with that. I hope that, and it's saying the exact same thing you guys have been saying, just in a different way. I hope that I move forward more mindfully, not just with the things that I teach and the spirit that I bring to it, but just walk through my days more mindful, more aware that, we had no idea when we had just taught our last class before everything got shut down. I had no idea when I said goodbye to those guys that I would not see them. Some of them have moved. I won't ever see them again. I didn't know that it was goodbye. Yeah, I think about that a lot. And it is the time that we get our kids is so precious, and it's not guaranteed that it'll happen again. So I just hope that we get frustrated, and we're humans. And so I definitely have had my share of not wonderful human moments, but I hope that I can go in with more patience and more kindness and more focus on what really matters.
Yeah. I hope that too. And I hope also that because it's been a while, we kind of are starting to pick this up. But my hope is that this community that we have here, not just this table, but also out to you. I'm looking at the camera. At you. My hope is that as we are... Okay, Mark, you want to go that direction? No, really, my hope is that we start spinning this out, because I really have enjoyed... one thing I've enjoyed from this past 2 years is that we actually recently, I think it was a couple days ago, we hit our 2-year anniversary. It was crazy.
It was crazy.
But I've really enjoyed talking with you guys about really important, heavy, important, bright, everything stuff, music related. And I've also really enjoyed interacting with you guys across the interwebs. And so hopefully this community can grow more and more. And that only happens if you can, this is going to sound cringy, leave us a review. I know. It's a thing though, and it helps with the optics. It helps grow a community. So please, guys, do leave us a review on any podcast listening app you have, be it iTunes, be it Spotify, whatever you may have. For example, I have one from... Oh my God, I pulled that person up before. From Daniel with a 7. DAN7IEL. Okay. Year 2 of teaching has just begun, and it's inspiring hearing teachers doing the work and having so much to say that is relatable, understandable, and applicable. Round of the week. I could hear that one. Is my favorite bit ever, and I'll be singing and utilizing those in my own classroom soon. It's great to hear from the more ORF teachers At clinics, it's easy to feel these orth masters are a little hard to relate to because of their reputation and experience, but these teachers are sharing the joys and struggles. You have an orth brother cheering you on.
Yeah.
Sing, say, dance, play. Thank you, Daniel 7. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
kind.
Not just that, he was kind not just with his words, but also with his stars. Don't forget, 5 stars is the only option. Also, guys, leave us if you can. If you're following us on YouTube, please do subscribe. Hitting the like also does help with the optics, helps with this community to grow. So if you're, if you're driving while watching this video, don't do that. But you can, if you're doing that, go ahead and subscribe while doing it. You know, hands-free situation. I don't know. Either case. And also, if you have any questions or concerns,
we want you to be safe.
We want you to be safe. Emails at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
We don't condone driving and watching a video.
We don't.
Goodness, we don't. All right, back with Spiccato after the break. I want to take a quick break and thank my husband, Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information.
I did bring a Spiccato.
Oh, good.
Oh,
How would you use a magazine
magazine.
in your music room? I just threw a National Geographic for those who are not watching.
I mean, actually, if I can, I think we might actually delve into this bit I have in mind later on. But talking about the news is something that people often shy away from. I think it would be good to bring up news, especially if it directly affects our students. So, pulling up an article, talk about it, maybe sing a song afterwards. I don't know, but I think it's good that we talk so much about the music room is often siloed away from things, often for worse. And I think that's a place that I think we could do better as music educators.
So how would you do that?
So I would read an article. I'd read it. Yeah, I would read the article. We'd talk a little about it, and then maybe sing a song based off of it.
Okay. All right. And just do a very focused.
Yeah. And don't spend too much time, but just like doing a very focused, like, just do what Mark did. Just pull out a random magazine and just throw it down. All right.
That's right.
We're reading this, boys.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know how to read, Mr. Seligman.
So I had 2 thoughts when you threw it on the table. The first one is last year, my art teacher and I, hi Stacy, I love you. We did this really cool activity together where she taught about warm and cool colors and I taught timbre, and we put them together. So what instruments sound warmer or cooler? So I was thinking, she did collages to teach warm and cool colors. So I was thinking they could go through and they could clip and make collages, and then we could make what does your picture sound like in music class. That'd be kind of rad.
Okay.
And then the other one was, I remember doing our newspaper dance with Joshua Block. In level 3. That was really fun.
So good.
That was really fun.
Messy.
It was way messy. It went on for like 20 minutes where we just all improvised and ripped paper and went around the room and made rhythms. It was amazing.
Great. And then read. We read. We read random things. It's like, talking about a block of cheese in the middle of the woods. Like, okay.
That would be like an Orff Club activity. You'd have to have a pretty dedicated, advanced set of kids to try something like that. Or maybe find a way to put more structure behind it. Like, your job is to read clips. Your job is to rip in a steady pattern. Yeah.
Speaking of clubs, that's maybe another hope. Having more dedicated clubs would be fun.
Yeah. Pull the kids who are really interested. The ones who do your asynchronous work.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I liked it. I was in an arts integration PD because my school is heading towards trying to integrate the arts in everything, which I love. And the clinician is a gal by the name of Michelle Holt, who works with a organization called Young Audiences up in the Bay Area, which also, side notes, they're lovely, but also I've really appreciated being able to learn from people who are not just directly in San Diego. Like we've been able to work with partners in LA and San Francisco and like all these other things. Like, so that's one plus for all the distant stuff.
For sure.
Not many, but that is one. But she had us look through it, and she had said like, well, don't look for images, look for certain things. So I think I would try to use it in my music room by having the kids look for different textures. And then having them look for different, like trying to do things where you're just looking for something different and then using that to maybe compose. So you have these textures. Okay, what is this texture now? How does that texture sound to you? And you can, I mean, in the spirit of not using instruments, you can make that sound on your body. You can find a way to make that sound, and like allowing them to just really stretch how they actually interpret media and how they look at things, and try to like have them get to that conclusion of, well, why do I think that, why do I think that sand sounds like this? I mean, it might not, but why? Well, here's why. And so just trying to help stretch that mind and that just critical thinking. I think that's how I'd use it.
I like that. It's cool.
I like.
Good one.
We had a lot of different ideas. I like this.
Yeah,
This is good.
This is a good one.
Boom.
And John didn't use movement, so what's a win there?
Wow.
It's the first episode.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now we have a round of the week. Round of the week. This one is a little ambitious, guys, so we'll see how it goes. All right.
Yes.
Caldera, 1705. The greeting song. So I sing, you
Yep.
sing,
Yeah, you sing.
we all sing together.
Well, we all sing together. Okay, first note though.
Welcome, here's to you. We're glad to have you with us here today. And it already burned.
Those words are not
Try
in
it
song,
again.
by the way.
Try it again.
Welcome, here's to you. We're glad to have you with us here today. Welcome, here's to you. We're glad to have you with us here today.
Welcome, here's to you.
Welcome, here's to you. We're glad to have you with us here today. Welcome, with you. We're glad to have you with us here today. One. Noise.
Must resolve.
Oh, goodness. Thanks, guys, for being a part of this. Crystal, where can the peoples find you?
You can find me all over Twitter at FinnyVAPA. I'm easy to find on Facebook. It's my name. YouTube, Crystal Pridmore, crystalpridmore.com. Find me.
I am on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all under Mr. Keehmer.
Awesome. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman. Bonus points with a capital S. Doesn't matter. And then you can also find us, Chaotic Harmony, at CH Classroom on Twitter, Instagram, and also, I'm forgetting Facebook, but YouTube's a bit different. It's Chaotic Harmony Classroom. And you can always contact us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
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 The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore, Jonathan Seligman, and Marc Keehmer. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.
Anyone else wants to be poked in the face? Just contact me.
This is not 2008
But-
anymore, John.
Did they take the poke feature out? What?
See?
I'm so disappointed.
John's whole world just came crashing
It's
down.
kind of like when they closed AIM. That was like, oh my gosh.
It's good.
Buy a...
There we go. I poked you.
Nick Saban.
You found it?
I found it. It's now associated with Messenger instead of the main.
Oh.
It's National Raisins Day. What are your thoughts on this? And they send a GIF. And so everyone's just saying, yay or yuck. And my response is like, what lobbyist had the audacity to make this a day? Gosh. It's like, did Napa need a third pillar in their grape economy? Gosh.
Yeah, chocolate covered raisins is such a waste of a candy.
There are other things you can cover in
It's kind
chocolate.
of like whoopers.
Whoppers. Yeah.
I don't like malt. Like
That's fair.
It's chalky.
Yeah. People like that.
I don't.
Somewhere.
I don't know at what point we still think that Mark is capable of singing.
You are capable
You
of
are.
singing.
Are we, though?
Singing. Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
No. Hand
Yeah.
down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
2 against 1.
Majority rules.
My vote counts twice because I'm the girl. Feeling podcasty. May delete later.
Ooh, I'm gonna put that as.
That's actually good. No, that's good. It's gold.